All right, what is up, everyone? It is the Awesemo.com NHL Hit the Ice show. 2-game slate to talk about today. Really not that much interesting stuff to talk about, honestly. But I think the more interesting thing would be to kind of go through Fantasy Cruncher and maybe mess around with some different types of lineup builds that we can do for a 2-gamer. If you're here, that means you're probably playing it. You're probably like me. Wrote a Stacks article today, so I'm going to play this slate, entered in my contest today. And how did last night go for everyone? Did anybody in here make money? I feel like no one I talked to made any money last night. Maybe that's just because I'm a fish, but yeah, that was it seemed like nothing happened last night. I don't know if anybody else felt that way. But yeah, my 888 lineup was real bad. I mean, never had a shot. New Jersey 1 didn't do anything. Rangers 2 didn't do anything. And then Sagan was fine, but not didn't break the slate or anything, so it didn't really matter. $75 in MME, low scoring night. Yep. Oh, okay. So some people did make money. Aaron, Huey. Okay, good to hear. Good to hear. I saw Slewfoot, 3 putts. He made quite a bit of money, or at least he did before I went to bed. So I don't know, but obviously very good player there. I think he does a lot of power play stacks. So I saw one he had Dadnoff with Barkov and Huberto, I think, and that was a really good trio there. This is not basketball. No, it's not. It's not basketball. St. Louis, Tampa Bay. Yeah, I like that St. Louis, the Shen line, Shen, Schwartz, Tarasenko. I think me and Steve talked about that one. I just wasn't there for a single entry. I really liked my ownerships when I saw them. So I saw like Hall and Palmieri were at like 10%. I think Sagan was like 5% maybe. I don't know. It was good though. So couldn't, I wasn't. The plays just didn't work out, so that's going to happen. Top line for entry. I don't know what that means. Another 888 tomorrow, yeah. Let's go to that, actually. So there's my dummy lineup if you guys want to see it. Yeah, so they're rolling this. They're running it back, I should say. There. Abominable Snowman. Once again, they made it smaller. I don't know why. There's no football game tomorrow. Like, there's no NFL tomorrow. And they basically chopped this in half for whatever reason. It filled like 3.5 hours early yesterday. Maybe even more. I don't know. I don't know what DK is doing. Like, they had this information before this contest went live today. And they chopped it in half. It was 200 entries yesterday, and it filled. Like, this is going to fill 6 hours early. It's just going to be, I don't know. I mean, I'd rather have them have a bigger $8 one with a real payout structure like this rather than what they did last night. It was like 10K to first and then 2,500 to second type of thing. That was awful. But yeah, like this $88, it's pretty good. Yeah, 12 max, so that's not bad at all. I don't know. I mean, at least they're somewhat trying. I don't know why they sized this down. Your contest yesterday. Anyone get an entry for Awesemo giveaway? Oh, there was a winner. I don't know. Brett, our social media guy, is in charge of that. So he'll reach out to you if you won. I'm not sure exactly how he's been doing it, but yeah, you'll be notified if you did indeed win the random drawing. And we do have that again today. So thanks for reminding me. As I mentioned, we are in the home stretch. This is a gift from Awesemo.com to you guys. We are giving away a free month of all access premium content. So you don't have to even choose your sport. You get access to all the sports for a month if you win this random drawing. Let's do for today the comment and the like, of course. You have to like, you have to comment on this video after it goes, after it stops being live. So don't comment in the chat box right now. But to be eligible for this giveaway, let's do a comment. The line most likely to disappoint tonight. How about that? I think that's pretty good. So you got like both Pittsburgh lines, Washington 1, Colorado 1. I'm thinking of lines like that where they're all expected to do very well. You see some high Vegas totals tonight. But yeah, comment with the line that you think is most likely to disappoint tonight. Because there's definitely going to be 1 or 2 or maybe 3 of them. So 2-game slates are tough. You just need to like this video and comment, and you will be eligible for this prize. So it's free, so why not? And you also will gain additional entries into the grand prize, which Josh will announce, I believe, on Christmas morning, since there are NBA games. No NHL. I think tomorrow, no wait, the 23rd, so that's Sunday? 22nd? I can't remember. I don't know. There's no NHL over Christmas. So that is nice. Nice little break for us. Much needed for me, but I'm going to ride it out, play these 2-gamers. I think there's a 3-gamer on Friday. I don't know. The big 300 or 333, whatever it was today, already filled. It filled super early. Imagine that. All right, do you guys want to go through these games? There's actually a decent amount of people in here, kind of more than I was expecting for a 2-gamer. But if you guys want to go through them, I'll go through them. I wrote up a stack for as many games as there are today, so it doesn't really matter to me, but kind of what I've been doing today on Fantasy Cruncher. I'll go to this. Oh, that's rewind. So this is the Awesemo.com Fantasy Cruncher version. What I've kind of been doing is, I'm new, so go through it. Okay, we'll do that. Nice video, new to the scene. Welcome Mondo 513 Hendo. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go through it quick. You guys are right. Yeah, we'll keep with the status quo. All right, Pittsburgh and Washington. We have a 3.1 implied total for the Penguins, 3.5 for the Caps, so over 6.5 total here. Matt Murray, Braden Holtby, likely I saw on Daily Faceoff. Would assume he goes. Anyways, got some star power in this game for sure. 2 teams that people really like playing. I think my favorite line here is still Crosby, Gensel, Rust. It does hurt Gensel a little bit that Hornquist is now back because he gets bumped off that top power play. And as we know with Pittsburgh, the top power play is huge for them. The Capitals, I believe, commit a lot of penalties. Yeah, 117 on the season in 32 games. So they're actually up there in time shorthanded per game. And that's the stat I look at. You can look at penalties taken. I just like to look at time shorthanded. It doesn't really matter. They're basically telling you the same thing for the most part. So it does hurt Pitt 1 that Gensel is not on the top power play anymore. And it kind of spreads them out now. Now you've got 3 viable lines, I suppose, with Brassard and Pearson both getting power play time and Hornquist on the top unit, of course. So for correlation reasons, I think Pitt 2 is probably going to be the most popular Pittsburgh line because you get Malkin and Kessel together, and then Aston Reese is 3,300. I think they're 15.4. Yeah, 15.4 as a stack, as a total stack, and they actually do fit with Colorado 1. So all that leads me to believe that Pittsburgh 2 is going to be the most popular. Obviously, Pittsburgh 3 fits with Colorado 1 and Washington 1 as well. But not often you can jam in Malkin, Kessel, and the big 3 for Colorado. But you can do that tonight if you get creative with your punts for your defensemen. So So I still really do like Crosby, Gensel, Rust at even strength. I think they're going to see the most time against Backstrom, Ovechkin, and Oshie, who have not been that stout defensively. I've targeted Washington all season. I think you can target them with either line. Like the Kuznetsov line, I don't think is going to be great defensively. Neither is Malkin, Kessel, and Aston Reese, but they've been at least okay in their own end. So a lot to like in this game. I mean, there's a lot to like in both games, but for me, it's going to be Pittsburgh 1. I think we're going to see lower total ownership on them. You're going to see Crosby probably at a high number, one of the higher numbers on the slate in whatever tournament you're looking at, but it's going to drop down from Crosby to Gensel. It's going to drop down even farther from Gensel to Rust. So you might see Rust at 10%, but Crosby's at 26%. And so for me, that just means that Pittsburgh 1's a 10% owned stack at max if people aren't using Rust as a one-off. So I like that, and I like their even strength matchup. On the other side, the Backstrom, Oshie, Ovechkin line is, of course, your number one option going up against Crosby, Gensel, Rust. They're not a line I'm really worried about at even strength on the defensive end. I think it's going to be high event both ways, and you get full power play correlation for Washington 1, so it's hard to beat. Two very good power plays here, and very pivotal parts of the power play. You've got Ovechkin, Backstrom, and Oshie, who is where the power play runs through. It's just, for correlation reasons, they're right up there with Colorado 1 because they're incredible at 5-on-4, and they're all huge parts of the top power play unit, which gets a ton of time. Vrana, Kuznetsov, and Wilson, I also like as a stack. Prefer them way over Washington 3, even with price included. Like, you don't like playing $5,900 Tom Wilson, but he does still get power play 2 time, and Kuznetsov and Vrana with Wilson. There's some offensive talent there, of course, even outside of Kuznetsov. So I'm in on Washington too, of course. I'm probably going to say I'm in on every single line tonight because I'm going to have exposure to every single one of these lines because I'm playing 50 lineups, at least right now. Maybe a few more if I need to do a couple of unique combos. But on the defensive end, Chris Letang and John Carlson are the very, very obvious options here. I like Letang. I like that his prices come down. On a 2-game slate, it doesn't really matter. Everyone's going to be 25, 30% owned, all these power play 1 guys. So I'm not really worried about ownership on these guys. They're, for the most part, interchangeable, but I do really like both of these guys here. And then Pettersson is probably going to be like sneaky popular, especially at high stakes, because you can go 4-3-1 with Colorado 1 and Pittsburgh 2. He's dead minimum salary and gets power play time. So even though Osmo has him as a D value, D points grade, I think you might see him creep up there into like the 7, 8, 9% range, which is a lot for Marcus Pettersson. If you're looking at other defensemen on the Caps, this guy, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm not even going to attempt. He is $2,500. Osmo has him as an A value grade. He's also fine as a min salary punt. As is Bowie, I think. He comes up a little bit for me because of his per 60 numbers. He's not too bad in that regard. Orlov and Niskanen are fine. I'm trying to remember how Washington skates with their defensemen at even strength. I can't remember if they're still using that as the shutdown pairing. I always look at the forwards and never the defensemen. So last home game, they went, let's see. Okay. Yeah, all right. So they just spread it out. They went Backstrom, Ovechkin, and Oshie obviously spent the most time together, and then with them, it was just they spent time with everyone, all the defensemen, 3 to 6 minutes somewhere in there at even strength. So there's not like a stackable option outside of Carlson. That's like a great option that's going to see a bunch of time with Washington 1 here. So I would just go with the power play correlation. If you're going with the second or third lines, maybe throw in Orlov or Niskanen. If you're going with the top line, try to jam in Carlson if you can. Otherwise, maybe one of these guys is a punt. And goalies, I mean, I say it every time on a short slate. I'm going to have exposure to all of them. Murray has not been great this season. I don't know if he's great in general, but he is $7,500 and makes for a decent add-on as a correlation play. It's a 2-game slate. You're probably going to correlate no matter what, because you basically have to, playing 3 skaters from different teams. But yeah, any thoughts on Washington 3-man stack as a value for cash? I mean, Eller, I guess, is fine at 3,100, just a little bit underpriced, and going to see some depth lines for the Penguins. But I don't really like Connolly as a standalone option. All right, other game, Canadiens and the Colorado Avalanche. We have Carey Price going up against Philip Grubauer. And Colorado won. What do you guys think Colorado won is going to be owned? I always like to get your guys' thoughts on this, because on a 2-game slate, I'm not, like I said, I'm not that concerned about ownership. All these top lines are going to have ownership. They're all going to be duped 4-3-1, 3-3, whatever. You're just hoping, if you are even strength stacking, that you get the right combo and you have the low-owned defenseman or two that do something that they're not normally doing. But Colorado won, probably the highest owned. They're priced down. They're coming off a disappointing outing, but don't think you're going to be sneaky using them. Like, they're going to be right up there with Washington 1 and Pittsburgh 2 as the highest owned, if not the single highest owned. Price going to shut out Colorado? Okay. 60? No, not 60%. No. I could just be misreading this entire situation. Maybe they're going to be massive chalk. Really high ownership, maybe around 45%. I could see McKinnon getting to 45. Huh. I mean, yeah, I was thinking like somewhere in the 30 to 40 range. But yeah, I guess only 2-game slate. The pricing is somewhat soft, and like I mentioned, they do fit with Pittsburgh too, so that's fine. I mean, as long as they're not going to be 65-70% owned, then there's no reason to full fade them here. There's really no reason to ever intentionally full fade someone if you're MMEing. Really high ownership, maybe around 45%. Okay, that's fair. So I'm probably going to come in under that, but what I'm going to do with Colorado is try to get unique lineups, as you always try to do, especially on a 2-gamer. You got to set yourself apart somehow, whether that's a 5-man power play stack, you throw in Comfer, and you do like the 5-man power play stack, 5-man hybrid with a couple of forwards from each of the top 2 lines or something like that. That second line actually isn't too bad, and you can pair them with Landeskog, McKinnon, and Rantanen if you want to do the 6-man testosterone even strength stack. I'm certainly going to have a couple of those. Probably will have a couple of those for each team, because I think it's viable pretty much all over the board. Maybe you could make a case that you don't need to do that with Montreal, because then you're really struggling with spending the rest of your salary, but it is a 2-game slate. You certainly can get away with not spending all of your salary here. So what I mean, 6-man stack would be just going like this. And can easily get a couple decent defensemen. I would probably want to correlate here with a goalie. The only issue with this is you're sacrificing playing the power play 1 defenseman. So if you didn't want to do this and you just wanted to go 5 forwards and you want to say, all right, onslaught, let's take out Tyson Jost and let's go Tyson Barrie. There you go. I mean, that's not too bad either. And then you could go, I don't even know. Let's see, you can go Andrighetto and then Someone mentioned Lars Eller. Like, you could do something like this instead, and that's perfectly fine. You could also do that with the third line. I think that's okay. Any way to be different while also playing jockey skaters. Testosterone. You've seen him, Testosterone, take this down, actually. I think it was the last time we had a 3-game slate. And I was studying it the whole day. I was studying how Testosterone does it on shorter slates. And here, let's actually find this. He took it down with... Where's this at? Oh, here we go. FC Rewind. I think it was this one. Took down the entire tournament with a 6-man stack. And I had one from that team, but I didn't have the right combo of forwards. Yeah, this was it. San Jose. So you see right here, he's got Couture, Hurdle, Meyer, Thornton with Sorensen and Pavelski. That's some impressive stuff. Like, the defenseman didn't even crush, but goalie in there. Just good correlation. If you're taking 6 skaters, you probably have a good chance, if those guys go off, of your goalie getting the win. So that's something that definitely is viable if you were max entering. Pit 1, pit 2. Wait, what? Eugene, repeat your question. I can't understand that. All right. I'll go back to this game. We'll finish talking about Montreal. I don't know exactly how Colorado wants to match here, or if they're going to match at all, or if they're just going to roll lines or what. But I really like the value of the third line for Montreal. They fit with whichever line you want on the rest of the slate if you are even strength stacking. The Danault, Tatar, Gallagher line I know has been super, super frustrating. But they've also been very cheap, and they've come down in price. And it's a 2.8 implied total. That's not actually terrible. Colorado does commit a ton of penalties. They are top 4 in the league, I believe, and they're kind of a one-line team, as we always mention. So Montreal 3, I think, is a fine value stack, and then like, it's just hard to, all these lines are in play. You could probably make a case for some of these fourth lines. I'm not going to do it, but you could probably make a case to do it if you're firing 150 into, like, whether it's FanDuel or DraftKings, the low dollar tournament. Will you have any update on projections tonight? Yeah, I think I just updated them. Actually, let me check to see when the last time I updated them at 3:19 Eastern. No, wait, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, that's right? Oh, no, I didn't. I'll update them right after the show. I mean, basically, I just have Hornquist in there. He's the only guy I didn't have this morning that's in now. Everything else is good. And I can actually tell you what I have Hornquist projected for if you want to run crunches right now using mine. On DK, I got him at 3.57. On FanDuel, that translates to 12.93. So there you go, Huey, if you're trying to do some projections with Hornquist. All right, 2-game slate, very uninteresting to talk about. Tyson Barrie, the very obvious choice there. I will check to see what Colorado did with their defensemen. They've been shuffling around, going with Johnson and Girard a lot, with McKinnon and Rantanen and Landeskog at even strength. When they're at home, they had a stage where they went with Tyson Barrie a ton. So let's see what they did last game against the Islanders. McKinnon, line mates. Yeah, it was Barrie and Cole for 8:30 and 7:19, and then Girard and Johnson. So I guess the most important thing here is that these guys barely ever play with Colorado 1 at even strength. Only a shift or two, it looks like. maybe 2 or 3 shifts at most per game. So they are cheap. I think Nemeth is actually viable. He's not terrible for 2,500, but there are a handful of options tonight, even on a 2-game slate as pure punt defenseman, and he would be one of them for me. On the Montreal side, Petrie is my favorite value. Weber also completely fine. He's slowed down his shot attempts since the first few games that he was back, but he is also fine for 5K, whether you're stacking the top line or really the second line, or if you're going with like a Gallagher power play stack with Weber or Petrie. I don't really like Mete or Juleson there, even though they're min salary. So that's really all I have to say. I heard Jake is a big Nemeth and Ian Cole guy. Yeah, no, it's Nemeth's fine just because he's always min salary. He does block some shots occasionally, shoots it occasionally, but like, what do you expect from a $2,500 defenseman? One of these $2,500 defensemen is probably going to have 4 DK points, and that's likely going to be the one you need. I wish I could tell you which one that's going to be, because I listed off like I think 3 of them. All right, what should we do now? I was going to do something on Cruncher. This is the Osmo version of Fantasy Cruncher. If you guys want to try out Fantasy Cruncher with the Osmo premium subscription for a week, you can use the promo code on your screen. Promo code Hit the Ice. Make sure you're signing up for a Fantasy Cruncher subscription if you want to use the free trial of the Fantasy Cruncher add-on. If you don't do it, then you're going to have to email support, and then that's a lot of work for us. So if you want Fantasy Cruncher with your free trial, sign up for the week-long trial of Fantasy Cruncher, or the monthly or the yearly, whatever you choose. Make sure it has Fantasy Cruncher if you want to use it, because we've had a lot of complaints of people not being able to use Fantasy Cruncher for their free trial, and that's just a lot of unnecessary work. So just want to mention it. Again, I'll mention we still have the giveaway going on. It is a month-long pass for free of All Access Premium at Osmo.com. The way you do that is you like this video, and then we're going to comment most likely line to disappoint tonight. So Colorado 1, Washington 1, Pitt 2, Pitt 1, whichever. Most likely line to disappoint, because there's going to be some disappointment. There's also some huge swings on 2-gamers, as I'm sure you all know. So for tonight, I'm probably doing here. Actually, let me upload my projections. I don't really care. These literally might be the lineups that I run, so we'll see. I've only done like 1 true crunch, and I've just been using the calculate more button a lot, because I want to get, like I said, unique lineup constructions. So probably for my first 10 or 15 lineups, I would do something like this. Make sure you kind of have the even strength stacks covered. I mean, it's pretty unlikely that a 4-3-1 is going to be the nuts on this slate. Could certainly happen, but I would probably want 4 uniques, get a good spread, get kind of the top lines with each of the cheap lines you can fit with them, and go from there. So we'll do 20 here. I don't have any randomness going right now. I do have 4 uniques though. Also, shout out to Dave for this thing right here. And if you guys didn't know, if you use this and you click the arrow key on your keyboard, you can also do that. I didn't know that until like a day before he made it this box here. But yeah, this box is certainly very helpful. So then I would probably do something like this for my next 20. So the 4 uniques gives it so you don't repeat the same center combo together. So you only have 1 Lars Eller with 1 Nathan McKinnon type of thing. So you see here, none of the forwards you get more than one time with 4 uniques. So that's just what that button does. You've got a good spread. You've got some of your bases covered. This isn't a foolproof plan, of course, but for my next 20, I might go with 3 uniques and keep the same settings. Maybe add a defenseman and go 4-3-1 from same team. I guess. Oh, by the way, I do this all the time. It says stack D with at least 3 centers and wings from the same team. If you do this, it's going to try to stack both defensemen with at least 3 centers and wings from the same team. That will not allow the crunch to run because you have to have skaters from 3 different teams. This would work on FanDuel if you wanted to do 4 forwards there with an uncorrelated goalie. But this does not work on DraftKings, so you have to make sure you select 1D. So I would go like this, keeping in the same crunch. I would just maybe go calculate more. Now I've got 20 more using 3 uniques. We're going to get some repeating centers, but it's not going to be. You're still going to have a good spread. So like, look at right here. You've got Brassard with Malkin. You cannot fit the McKinnon full line with the Pittsburgh 1 full line. That's the only downfall. But you've got all 3 Montreal lines. Washington 3, Pitt 1, Pitt 2. Or I'm sorry, Pitt 2, Pitt 3. I've been paying down at D. Is this a good strategy? I mean, it depends on the slate. Sometimes it calls for it. Tonight you can double punt on D if you want to go Pittsburgh 2 and Colorado 1. All right. So now we've got still a good spread. Like we've got, you like to see this, right? You like to see the best players up at the top of your player pool as far as percentages. So you've got McKinnon, Landeskog, Rantanen, you've got Backstrom, Oshie, Ovechkin, you've got the Malkin line, you've got the Crosby line. Like, there's a very good chance 1 or 2 of those lines is the top scoring line tonight. And you want to see that reflected in your exposures, unless you're just going off the wall and you're full fading 1 or 2 of these lines, which is viable sometimes. But with 50 lineups, I don't think that I need to do that. And then like maybe for my last 10, you could also hand build some 6-man stacks or use groups to make those 6-man forward stacks. But maybe you include a PP unit for this one, just to get some sort of different lineups. Would you use groups tonight or not on a 2-gamer in Cruncher? Well, what would you want to use groups for, Huey? So this is going to allow us to get like some McKinnon, Rantanen, Comfer stacks, or McKinnon, Landeskog, Comfer stacks. See? McKinnon, Comfer, Rantanen. You've also got a full Washington 2 stack. You don't have a correlated defenseman. Oh yeah, you do. You have Kempney right here. But maybe you could do this instead and go 1D with at least, let's do 1 player from the same power play unit instead. So now you're going to have at least 1 power play defenseman in each of those 10 you built right there. So the last 10. Here you've got 2, Letang and Carlson. Look at that. Holtby, Petrie. Yeah, so you just get some different looking lineups. So instead of Oshie here, you've got Kuznetsov, which I actually like a ton. Kuznetsov, Ovechkin, and Backstrom with Carlson. So you got 4 out of the 5 on Washington 1. You could change this to Montreal 3 if you wanted. That's in a similar price range. Flip around your goalie or your defenseman, whatever you want to do there. But I like this as a way to get a little bit different. So this is pretty much what I'm going to do tonight. And I'm not just doing this for no reason. Like, I've been looking at what some of the top players are doing on these shorter slates. They do kind of the same thing, but some just let it ride, I think. Like I think Alex Osimo, who is my boss, I think he just runs 3 uniques no matter what. And or maybe even 2. I can't remember. Let's see what he did last time out. Yeah. He does. Yeah, I think he does 2 uniques actually on a slate this short. So if one of his combos hits, I mean he's got a bunch of 2v2s, and he's really looking good at the top of the tournaments. So he'll have a handful of lineups up there, or if it's kind of funky goals that happen, uncorrelated stuff that happens, you're not going to see him up there. Same thing with like Tom JK321. He is another one of my bosses, and obviously a very good NHL DFS player. He does kind of the same thing, but maybe uses 3 uniques on a slate this short, just to make sure you get exposure to each line 1 from all your stacks. What you mean? I don't know what you mean, Huey. I don't know that groups are necessary tonight, unless you want to like group all of the defensemen together that play on a power play, just to include only power play defensemen. I know some guys do that. That's a pretty common strategy. I think it's more viable on slates that are bigger, but you could do that tonight. There's Pedersen, who's $2,500 and on a power play unit, so you wouldn't be left out of those $2,500 defensemen if you did that. All right, what else? Okay. Other group chats going on, Bergeron back? Yes, Bergeron is also back tomorrow. Let's see if the pricing is out for tomorrow. Maybe we could take an early look at that. Oh, it is. All right, let's see it. Who's priced up? What do we have on this slate? All right, so we got Bergeron coming back, and if he's with Marchand and Pasternak, not that expensive. That's a really, really good spot for Boston. At home, Bergeron returns. Whew. Not too bad there. Who else is on this? This is a 12-gamer tomorrow. Chalk goalie tonight. I mean, that's tough to say. I would guess you see both the home favorites be the highest owned. So Holtby and Grubauer. Maybe Grubauer a little bit ahead of him. But if you guys are saying that Colorado 1's going to be crazy chalk, or like easily the chalkiest, then a lot of people probably won't go to Grubauer with their goalie, right? Because you're paying up for 3 forwards a ton, and then you're paying for the most expensive goalie too. I don't know. I haven't played around with it. All these goalies are going to be double digits, I think. Maybe not price, maybe, but Yeah, so it looks like a good slate for tomorrow, actually. Just eyeballing some of these teams that play. You got Vegas at home. This should be a fun game to watch. I don't know how good it's going to be for DFS. Montreal on the back-to-back. Maybe Sagan, Ben, and Radulov will finally get there for me. I'm down about $1 billion on them. No, I'm not. I'm down on them for sure this year. And by down, I mean down dollars-wise. The numbers that I look at, absolutely love them all the time. And they always come up as like the top value, high-priced line, if that makes sense. So I just play a ton of them, and it has not been working out, as you can imagine. Oh, by the way, they were back together. Dallas 1 was back together last night, like 4 shifts in. Gurianov played 4 shifts with Sagan and Ben. And then Dallas 1 scored a full-line goal with this trio. So that was... If I wasn't already mad, not mad. I wasn't mad about last night. I was just kind of indifferent. But that kind of made me a little bit mad that Sagan, Radulov, and Ben had a full-line goal, and I swapped off of them. That was my first read in the morning, and then no Radulov took me off the line except for Sagan. NHL DFS for you, though. That's what happens. Some people going after the beat writers today. That is funny stuff. The beats, depending on the team, depending on the night, they're just all over the place. Sometimes teams are really, really good. And they've got like a group of 3 or 4 beats that are awesome and always tweet out the lines and, have projected stuff if the coaches are a little bit tight-lipped in the morning. But like other times they're just like Columbus the other night. They just went, they went ghost on everyone right as the slate was starting, and then tweet out the lines 36 seconds before the slate locks. But I don't know. I mean, just it's that time of season. People get annoyed with beat writers. Rust is a must. Is that right? I don't know that Rust is a must. He's adequate. What's up, Brian Elliott? You are very late. We're about to wrap up here. I think there's a big NBA slate, actually. I should probably get out of here because I don't want to step on their toes. NBA is huge tonight. Oh, by the way, if you guys do play NBA, go to Yahoo and play that rake free. Not only rake free, but they're giving away expected value in their tournament. So 33% overlay at minimum, I believe. They're giving away, is it 33%? They're giving away 50K, I thought. Anyways, there's guaranteed overlay in this Yahoo tournament. If you sign up and use code AWESOMO, you get a deposit bonus for first-time depositors. So do that if you're playing NBA tonight. If you play $100 a night or less in NBA, or just want to try it out, throw a lineup in there, that tournament is a must. It's just that you do not see guaranteed overlay tournaments like that. And Yahoo's been doing it all week as a marketing technique. I think it's been working. I know the NFL one was close to filling if it didn't fill entirely. I'm not sure how the one last night in NBA did, but they keep running it back. So there's also an NFL one like that again this week. They're running that one back. So do that. Like this video. Check out Adam and Laffy after my show if you're looking for some NBA talk. And then I believe it's Chris Spags and Fast Eddie Fear tonight to break down the slate at 6 Eastern, live before lock. Those guys are awesome at what they do. All the guys here are. We've got a pretty good crew. So comment on this video with the line that's most likely to disappoint once I press end, and you will be entered into the free contest giveaway. Again, like this video. It helps us out in more ways than one. Thank you guys for joining, even on the 2-game slate. We got a pretty decent crew in here. And look forward to hearing from you all tomorrow. I'm expecting a very big turnout tomorrow like we had on Tuesday. Homer Cleese and I breaking down the 12-game slate. I might start looking at that now, actually, and getting an early start because this 2-gamer isn't all that fun to make lineups for. Good luck, guys, and hit me up on Twitter, hit me up in Slack. If you got questions, I'd love to help you out. So, thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.